So.
All right, everybody, and we are back once again with TempestMax playing, this time, Curse Crackers, from whom the Belle toils. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to you. Good luck and have fun.
Thanks again, Mirne. Hello, friends and fellow gamers. Once more, I am TempestMask1000. As some of you know me as Steve, we got ourselves a wonderful indie game that came out 1 year ago on August 31st. It's now a year old, and also as of the 24th of last month has a Switch port as well. But this is Curse Crackers, for whom the Belle toils, the second released indie game from a fantastic remote team of fellas, Colorgrave. And joining me for this commentary will be the writer of this game's or run's Auto Splitter, as well as a runner himself and a fantastic commentator, Iodocore. How you doing, good sir?
I am doing all right. Waiting to get some dinner going, but I have enough time for this fantastic run before I get going on that. And I'm hungry for some speed.
Oh, I am also
speed running.
Speed running to be done. Let's do it. Alright, time will begin once I select my character, which for this run will be Belle. We are doing the any % Cannonless run, which Iodo will explain once I get things going. So for now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Alright, so the any % Cannonless run in this game is, as you do with a normal speed run, reach the credits. Now, the Cannonless part is something we're not going to touch on too much, but effectively there are various points in the levels that allow you to skip large sections of the levels and large numbers of levels in general. So, for all intents and purposes, we are just going to be playing this game all the way through. Now, another aspect to this is, I believe this is going to be a Spark Bangle run, right?
That is correct, yes. We will be doing Spark Bangle. And by the way, thank you all for helping me meet the Cannonless incentive. Y'all rock. In fact, we had a lot of, just about all of the incentives smashed, if I'm not mistaken, throughout this entire event. So, yeah, thank you all for your generous donations to Child's Play, truly.
Yeah, so the Spark Bangle is something I'll talk about a little bit more, but let's just say that while this may seem like we're going at a good clip through the game right now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
True that, true that. By the way, quick shout out to Minbron, who is one of the members of the Dev Colorgrave, and also a runner of this game, if you can believe it. Actually, I'd like to make a quick mention to our newest category, which, I kid you not, is called Dodgeball %. A machination of Minbron's, and something that us runners have been busy with as a sort of community-issued challenge throughout the entire month. It's been quite the show indeed. I'm gonna have to find a way to get back, though, to that rose. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, so let's talk about briefly what sort of the goals are during this run. I mentioned that it's a run where you're going through all the levels, but that doesn't mean we can just go through all the levels as fast as possible. Steve has been collecting these roses throughout each of the levels. They're called Ardell Roses. Each level has 3. And in order to reach the final zone, which is how we get to the credits, he needs to have 30 of them by the time he reaches the final stage in the 4th world. Now, given that we're going through all the stages, that's actually not too big of a problem, because even if he misses 1 or 2, he can just pick up another one on the way. But it is something that he has to go out of his way to grab every so often. One of the things that we are normally able to do in the closer to any % runs is save and exit the levels midway through, because that allows us to grab the rose and just hightail it out of the level without even having to complete it. Thankfully, the developer lets us keep items we pick up in the level, but without having to actually finish it. It's very appreciated, actually. But we can't really do that in this game. In this game, we have to go all the way through, all the way to the end, use Chime to hit the cauldrons? I've never actually been entirely sure what those things are.
Yeah, me neither.
Stop the curse. Stop the curses that are going on, or crack them, as you know is appropriate, and just keep doing that all the way through. There's also is a category where we're actually going to see some bosses, which is unusual.
Ah, dang it. I was trying to do the cool trick. Oh, well.
Yeah, better luck next time.
Yep.
It worked out well enough.
Indeed, indeed. Alright, so, at this rate, we're just gonna keep on going through these stages, and it's here that I get to introduce the formula of how the levels play out. So, every third and fifth stage of a main world has you fight a boss at the end of the level. Well, most of the worlds anyway. There's going to be one exception to this, but otherwise you've got the main boss at the end of the fifth level. And it's for this reason that we gotta be a little bit on our toes once we get to the end, because, you know, normally you might be playing this game for the first time and you're thinking, okay, so I just gotta hit these cauldrons. But nope, it would be just a little too easy if there was no challenge that Bonnie, which was the bunny girl from the beginning, tries to throw at you. So, yeah. On top of that, we also have our friend Claire, who is a baker that will make some nice little magical recipes that can help Chime transform to thus empower us with the way forward. And so in order to help her with that, in order to help us, we gotta do fetch quest for these ingredients. And you'll see that every fourth stage of the first 4 main worlds. The major exception to this little trend is World 5, the Astral World. For one, we gotta get the 30 roses for that, as Ioto mentioned. And 2, it has a boss within the first 2 levels, and then the final boss is the 5th and final level, and then, yeah, you get the gist, basically. So, here's Skater.
So
he's our first boss of the run, and he's gone like that.
Yeah, so this game does feature a lot of mechanics that sort of call back to older platformer games, you know, like moving around at high speed. Here we go. So that is Tedra. She is a Cyclops and kind of a brat, and she has dumped us into a pit. So another thing, Steve mentioned that each of the levels goes through a sort of formula where you have 3 stages, boss at the end of the 3rd stage, then 4th stage and 5th stage. 4th stage has Claire, and then 5th stage has the final boss of the level. The other thing that happens, generally, is that the 4th stage is a sort of transformation of the level. It changes the theme music, it changes what you're doing, it adds some new challenges. It's a really cool touch that just makes it so it doesn't feel like you're treading water, as you're going through the levels.
Ironic. Okay, whew, yeah, that was a close one right there.
Yeah, a little sticky on that one. All right, there's Claire. So we're going to be talking to her shortly, but for now, we just need to ignore her and keep moving on because we need to go grab the item that she wants, which is pancake mix, I think it was?
It's something like that, basically. Okay, there we go.
What? No, it was like
a little more obstacle.
It was
flour.
flapjack
I think it was
mix.
flour. No.
Yeah. Anyway, she made.
It's whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is that she's going to be making flapjacks with them.
Oh.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was just a bit of a mechanic fault, basically. So you saw me crawl. Belle can crawl, but once she gets out of a ground that she can crawl on, she's immediately standing up again, and her hitbox just so happened to take a bow for me, or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah, it's just very unfortunate timing. It also is a game where the platformer can actually crawl. So if you've ever played some Metroid and always wondered about that, now you know. This is a game that can do it.
Yup. Alright, so I'm gonna actually die, though, because if I do this right there, we're gonna save ourselves a little bit of traveling time and just make our way back to the checkpoint, which is right next to Claire anyway, so yeah. Not quite the death that I wanted to do at that point, but hey, happens.
Yeah, that's something I pointed out before. When you die, you still keep the things you picked up, so you don't really lose progress. It's very forgiving in that sense. It's really nice. It also means that speedrunning it is not a huge pain because there's a lot of ways to recover if you mess up.
Alright, so we've got ourselves on the way to stage 5. You've noticed so far that my health caps out at 3 points, and once I take that final hit, I'm dead, so yeah, simple as that, but yeah, the overall challenge of the game just focuses around the whole idea of manage your health wisely, because the only way to heal that, aside from picking up this item called the, I think it was called the emergency band-aid or something like that, aside from that giving you a full heal, which you press the item button to use, the only other way to get a point of health back is through each checkpoint you pass, so it's nice enough because Belle does not get knocked back, so you can still maintain your momentum, and therefore damage boosting actually can prove to be useful within the run itself. But then
damage boosting is incredibly useful.
Yeah, but then it's just the idea of trying not to accidentally kill yourself in the worst way possible.
It's fine, though. You get used to it. It's all about calculated risk. There's a couple levels later on that we're probably going to do a bit of damage boosting on just because the timing works out to make it much easier than doing it sort of safely.
And after this, we're also going to get the proverbial hot knife, 1,000-degree hot knife we're going to cut through the butter with and all that jazz. But first, a little guitar hero. We got Riff right here, who's going to challenge us to a little rhythm input game. Not rhythm game, but input game. I just got to make sure I'm on the other side of the stage after the second slide, and then if I mess up 3 times, that's going to be a point of damage taken on me, and then I got to try again. But other than that, you got to get it right, and then you also got to jump on him for him to take actual damage. It's a simple boss otherwise, nothing to it. Oops.
I mean, I have seen people kill Riff just by throwing the guitars because they didn't realize you can jump on him. So,
oh, okay.
It's not... Actually, it's technically easier because he keeps his... ooh, that's unfortunate. But if you only throw the guitars, he doesn't transition into like his level 2 speed, so it actually becomes easier. You just have to do it a lot more times.
Oh god, he wanted to drag his boots on the stage for that slide. That was pretty slow. But yeah, we're just gonna try that again one more time. No big deal. If you're wondering about the little timer that I have, that option turned on and all that jazz, it's not necessary for the speedrun itself. We judge things by RTA, as most would, but it's the idea of having that timer, which is just a nice little point of reference, more or less. That's all it really is, and you can also use it to get the speed medal, which is one of the accolades that you can collect in, well, just about each of the stages that let you collect medals.
Yeah. And there we go. We have now completed the first world, the carnival. Now, the reason why we had to wait that long is because we needed to buy this key from Eleanor. Eleanor allows us to... that key allows us to open a locked door, which is in this schoolhouse. This is a character, Maggie, who we sort of run into before. And in there is the Spark Bangle. Now, the Spark Bangle is incredibly powerful. What this gives us access to is, first, a double jump. Second, it gives us a kick that moves us across the screen, which moves us at an incredible pace in addition to being an attack. Finally, you can actually like infinitely fly by doing that, so there's a lot of stuff going on right now. For example,
yes.
You may have noticed that Steve got a super jump going after he bounced off one of those enemies. There is a mechanic, which I'm not sure if it's a bug or whatever, but whatever, we still use it, where if you bounce off an enemy while doing a double jump simultaneously, you will get a super jump that just carries you way up into the air. It is really handy. Not that we really need it in this instance, because we're going at Mach 3 anyway, but hey, it's handy.
You're mostly English is hard. Reliably going to perform that trick, though, if you are doing it on the ground, because you can just press the jump button when you touch the bounce pad that you're going to probably do it off of. And that's, that's like the easiest way of doing this, because otherwise, if you're trying to do it off of midair, you're mostly going to need a double jump to make that just a little more consistent.
Yeah, so really, you can do it at any given time, but it's only applicable for most of the game if you have a double jump, which there are only 2 items that do it. This and, like, just look at that! Look at him go! This category... Any of the Bangle categories are silly just because of how that movement works.
It's not easy, though. Like, you still gotta know how to properly wield this thing. Like, it's not like you can't just master it in one day. As long as you know how to activate the air kick, the little mid-air long hop, then yeah, there you go. So this right here is a secret exit that I just activated. The purpose of these in each of the three main worlds, at least the first three anyway, is it just unlocked a little cavern right there called a hollow. The hollow worlds are extra levels that you can play for extra portions of the overall 100% completion of Curse Crackers. And the nice thing about it is it also adds to the collectivity of some of the other side quests that you're gonna see yourself doing in this game in order to also, 100% it. But aside from that, it's... The hollows are necessary for 100%ing. And why am I talking about 100%ing? Well, in order to get the use of the actual Spark Bangle, you have to get 100% percentage on your file, which mostly come on, I had 1 health, oh well. I wasn't paying attention to the health bar, silly me. But yes, it's mostly metal collection, rose collection, and general collection of stuff that was available within the game up into the point where the Spark Bangle was then added into the game through that update, I guess you could say. So here's Tiki, probably the worst mid-boss of the game. He's a bit annoying in that if you jump on him after the plunger is down, you'll bounce up much higher, uncontrollably into the spike ceiling, and then I guess that damage point sort of negates, or whatever.
Yeah, he's just an annoying boss. He's not necessarily hard, just very annoying.
He also takes 4 hits as compared to the usual 3 hits that you're going to see things otherwise fall after.
But that is level 3, and now we've moved on to the second version of the ruins, which has this nice purple look to it. Or violet. Is this violet or purple or what? What do you think?
I'd call this purple. I'd personally call this purple. I guess my take of violet is... Actually, I never had to be perfect. Oh, no, I don't want to go there. If I had to be perfectly honest, I never really thought about it, but,
Yeah, if you're wondering what that thing was, don't worry about it.
It's actually kind of neat, though, not gonna lie. But, yes.
Yeah, that's something that you should find out about when you play the game yourself.
Indeed, indeed. And the reason for that is because, well, it adds to the 100%, but also, it's more lore for the game. Which, this game has a very decently contained story to it. Like, you don't really have to go into the full details of the lore if you don't want to. But let me tell you, like, getting to see all of the aspects of the world of Ladamra, which is the main setting of Curse Crackers here, it's just really nice. It's super neat. I quite like this. I quite like this world a lot.
Yeah, they have done a lot of world building in the game, as well as the sort of prequel, not really prequel game, but the previous game, Prodigal.
Yes. If you are familiar with Colorgrave's game Prodigal, they actually share the same setting. Ladamra is actually the name of the world of Prodigal, spelled backwards. It's the Undertale effect, basically.
Yeah, but they're both excellent games, though. I highly recommend checking them out, especially since they are available on PC right now and very affordable. Highly affordable. In fact, too affordable. They're worth more than you're paying for them, seriously.
Yeah, no, Colorgrave really did a fantastic job just making these games overall. Like, there's a lot of charm into the retro aspect, but it also feels very affordable, or rather, easy to pick up as a modern game as well. It's just... oh, chef's kiss. I would do the gesture as well if I was not in control of Belle right now, but yes.
I believe the term I like to use is, this is the kind of game that you remember Game Boy Color games being like.
I'd agree with that. So here's the Guardian, and this is going to be a little bit of a boss that, at least to me, always reminded me of World 2's boss from Drawn to Life, the Nintendo DS, but it's also clearly got the old, it's a boss with giant hands sort of thing, and yeah, it's a trope that's been used quite a lot, but hey, it works here. It's the only time we really see a boss try to do that, and yeah, you just gotta break both hands in order to make it open its mouth, enter it from the inside, hit the core point, damn, I almost had it. And then, yeah, just try to complete the obstacle course without touching the skull wave, which, yeah, that's instant death in case it wasn't obvious.
Yeah, it's not a particularly difficult boss, but it is a difficult boss to beat quickly.
And damageless, by the way, which, yeah, we can talk about the other medals really quick. The target medal is when you find these target rooms where it's like, you know, Smash Brothers break the targets, except you gotta do them in order, particularly. And, yeah, once you do so, you get the medal from the chest. Simple as that. Oh, come on, really? Again? Again? Come on.
You keep getting too hasty.
I know. I'm a bit of a reckless gamer. Alas. Okay, let's try that one more time. Third time's the charm. And then the long shot medal. There are two ways to do it. If the level has a goal, then, as in like a cauldron, you gotta hit it from far enough away. Like, just far as enough as the level wants you to. And then once you hit the goal with Chime, after doing that, then, yeah, you're good to go. You saw me get one in the first level of the circus world, the first world. There we go. Alternatively, if it's a world where it has a boss at the end, you just need to beat the boss without having taken a point of damage during the boss fights. If it's a level that does not have a boss, however, and does not have a traditional goal cauldron, you have to no damage the entire level.
Yes, that is as big of a pain as it sounds.
But yeah, it's generally manageable. I eventually did it and all that stuff, but hey, if you yourself would rather just get to the Spark Bangle as soon as possible, feel free to join us at the Colorgrave Discord. There's an official speedrun topic for their games Prodigal and Curse Crackers there. It's magnificent, the community's great, and we've got resources to help you learn the game if you ever wanted to give this a try. And I do believe that would include completed files, save files for the Spark Bangle, so yeah. Just overall, pretty nice. So that was the first level of the Swamp World. We previously went through the Circus World, we went through the ruins, and now we got a swamp. I don't know why my mind always comes to Shrek when I do this world, but it just does.
I mean, you do have to deal with somebody who's telling you to get out of their swamp later on.
True. By the way, fun fact, in case you didn't know, Airbnb now has a official location in, it's either Ireland or Scotland, but it's in some
the
place
Swamp House?
Yeah, it's a recreation of Shrek's Swamp House. It's great.
So
that's
funny
our
story.
Second and last of the secret exit.
Yeah, so funny story about that one. That's also a canon level, so I don't think anybody has completed that level entirely for a while now.
Yes. A lot of us have been focused on the non-Cannonless stuff, and you know what? Fair's fair there, but let me tell you, Cannonless and No Cactus, very easy to get into, because you can literally run the game with that just by buying the game and starting it up for the first time. It's simple as that, really.
Yeah, this is the Spark Bangle version, which is a variation, but there are categories that we have for not using the Spark Bangle if you don't want to try installing the 100% file or getting 100% file legitimately or whatever. All right, so this
Boss Frog.
Yes, back from Prodigal, in fact.
So I didn't know that for the longest time this was a Prodigal boss, but that's admittedly because I've still yet to play the game. I do own it though; it's really nice. And
you got to get on that, man.
I know. Look, I'm a little busy with some stuff. Can you blame me? But yeah, no, it's super cool how I eventually learned that yes, among all the other bosses, this is one of a couple that actually carry in from the previous game, and that's always good to see. You could say the same for the characters as well, because that little bunny girl in the schoolhouse with the blue dress, that's the daughter of one of the folks that you can romance. I said romance, yes, in Prodigal.
Yes.
So, yeah, funny.
She is story important, and also the focus of, there's Daedra again, the focus of the dodgeball percent category.
Right. Yes. In that side quest, you let Emma borrow Chime, and she uses Chime to beat the 3 other snotty bully kids at dodgeball to stand up for her classmate Yana. It's actually a really sweet thing, and yeah, personal favorite quest of mine. So funny how Min would just decide, let's do a speed run where you gotta beat that as fast as possible. It's interesting though, because when this game did have a demo that you could play on Steam, our demo categories were all about just beating the demo as fast as you could, which was just like the entirety of the first world. In a way, Dodgeball Percent brings that back, because you are not allowed to use the skip cannons or the Cactus Room cheat codes. So in a way, it's 1/5 of the Cannonless run entirely. It's kind of neat how, when you think about it, it just sort of harkens back to that, and it's really cool indeed. Shout out to Min for that. Okay, so that power-up right there was Fiery Chime.
There was a little bit of a disconnection going on here, but I think we're fine now.
Oop. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess that was a Discord thing. Hopefully my stream was perfectly fine, though.
I'm watching the stream. It looks perfectly fine to me.
Yeah, fair is fair there. I know people can... I mean, we all get a little panicky whenever a stream suddenly freezes for a moment or something, so yeah. But, hey, if we're good, we're good. So, right, that power-up from the 3rd Claire recipe was making Chime into a fireball which can break those blocks. And, yeah, it's fun. It's not the most necessary. In fact, there's really not a whole lot of other blocks that appear in those other stages. You can, at some point, buy the ingredients to use yourself as items in your item slot. But the pepper is probably the one that gets used the least, from what I could imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Here's Moonshine, a friendly skeleton gardener who's sadly still loyal to Bonnie, so we gotta fight her anyway. And to damage her, I gotta hit her into the spikes. I always kind of feel bad for her, but like, you know, alas.
I don't. I hate this boss fight. It's a pain.
Hey, Cyprin, did you really just get this game? Good on you, dude. Shout out to my pal Cyprin. Wonderful retro game speedrunner and just a really cool dude altogether. But yes, we have now entered the library world, and this is where, at this point, you would want to make sure you have all the roses that you need. Which I do. I have 31 actually. I collected a little bit extra, a little too much extra, but hey, we got what we needed, and that's what counts. Oh, come on, really? I hardly ever screw up that part.
It's fine.
We should probably make note of what happens, though, when the spark bangle goes gray, because you would think that I could just still do my lightning kick, but no. When I use the double jump, it causes the item to lose power until I bounce on something else that causes it to recharge, or, you know, just simply hit the ground. But that also ties into the dash kick. So I gotta actually be a little bit careful as to when I use the double jump, otherwise I'm not gonna be as fast as I potentially can be.
Yeah, you need to very carefully manage the thing, which is why the movement isn't as easy as just spamming the kick all the time, because you lose altitude, and then you need to jump, then you also need to jump at specific timings in order to make sure you maintain altitude, and if you spam it, there's a good chance that you'll just completely lose everything until you land, which is a pain. It's honestly kind of why I personally don't want to bother running the bangle categories, because it's like, it's fast, but also like, yeah, there you go, just like that. It's fast, but also a lot of like finger dexterity that's very tricky to do.
Whoa, nice bounce extension, but yeah, that literally took away my ability to use the kick. Still, at least I get to do it here. Whoop. Oh, come on, Chime. I need you to hit. There we go. Admittedly, the way to finish this level fast with the Spark Bangle is much more convenient than doing it the non-Spark Bangle way, because I have to throw Chime in that little gap, and that requires a little bit of precision. It's not that simple. They knew what they were doing, Colorgrave, when they were planning that little thingy out, but yeah, you know.
I wonder if you can Spark Bangle into that.
That actually would work, probably. I mean, I don't know for certain, but wouldn't that be nice? By the way, another reason why Spark Bangle's broken, it just let me skip over a section that I would otherwise try to damage boost or use Chime to get me through without even needing to stand on the platform, which, yeah, as you can see for that very split second right there that I'll show you, it moves when Belle is on it, so yeah. Just,
It's not an auto-scroller, though. We have one of those. It's really annoying, but we do have an auto-scroller level.
I forgot we did.
Just the one, though.
Just the one, yeah. It's so bizarre that even me, a guy that's played this for over 60 hours total or something like that, has forgotten it exists. Oh, come on. Relax, Chime. Why'd you miss that? Oh, well.
I still got the speed medal.
True. It's funny because Chime is very, very nice. In fact, he's probably one of my top favorite mascot characters, don't at me, but throwing him is not only a necessity, it's also sometimes a little bit uncontrollable because he doesn't really have a screen limit. He has a bounce limit, yes, but he can basically go as far away from Belle and not really, like, get back to you naturally as soon as you might think. No. That's why the recall button exists, and that's why you see me use that more often than not, if I remember to anyway.
Yeah, you know what? We haven't actually talked a whole lot about the mechanics of the game, have we?
We really should. I'll let you handle that while I take care of Artis.
All right, well, just to enlighten people about this fight, this is Artis. You have to play Pong. He's one of the most annoying bosses in the game, in my opinion. Anyway, let's talk about the mechanics. So, Belle has a variety of platforming skills. She is able to bounce around on top of enemies' heads like a Mario. She can toss Chime around to hit enemies as a projectile. She can also toss Chime and bounce off the return hit as a bounce, which is a good way of maintaining height if you're over a pit, if you're trying to get a little bit more distance going. It's just a really useful platforming tool, and you really feel it when you're, like, going fast and just get the feeling of, like, yeah, okay, I'm cooking right now.
Whoops, hang on, I gotta get the key.
Yeah,
oh,
you
cannons,
did.
No. Okay, there we go.
Hey.
Ta-da!
So, yeah, but Belle is an incredibly fun character to control. She just feels so good to spring around on the levels. You just move fast. It feels good. It feels fluid. It feels so smooth. Like, I am a okay platform person. I've played a couple platformers. I've done Meat Boy. More recently, I did a game called Sunblaze. I don't know if you ever played that one.
I'm familiar with the name. It sounds familiar anyway.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a fun game. It did sort of bring me to the point that I realized I didn't really like precision platformers that much because it was a very precision platformer. Not a bad game, don't get me wrong, but I don't like precision platformers. But this game is not a precision platform. It's just a very go fast, fluid. The flow of the levels in this game is impeccable. Like, if you get into the groove of going through each of these levels, you'll feel it. You'll just go fast. You'll feel good doing it. It just feels excellent. I cannot stress that enough.
So that was the Spirit Fruit that we gave to Claire, and now the Phantom Plan basically let us jump through platforms. Nice to have, and also mandatory for some of your 100% collection. I won't tell you how, though. I'll let you figure that out yourself if you decide to try.
All right, so this is Beakton. Beakton is probably one of the most difficult bosses in the game. He starts off in this first phase, firing at you in the background, and he's dead. All right, so moving on, we're heading to the final boss of World 4, and this is Bonnie. We finally caught up to her, and she is a trick. In order to get into her, you need to very carefully time your throws with Chime in order to get past these spike balls that act as a barrier surrounding her, and that was clean.
Oh, I forgot to talk to her, right? This is not Bonnie mode.
Yeah, so that is a clean fight with her, but normally you have to sort of weave your way through those as she's throwing attacks out. However, we've sort of gotten it down to a science where we can just constantly do it in a rhythm that knocks her down and prevents her from actually getting another move off before you go forward. Now, we're headed into the astral levels. We're on the moon, baby, and we're dealing with the moon temples.
In outer
Now this
space. Sorry for the bad Tim Curry impression.
space.
Anyway,
Anyway,
I heard he's going to be at Comic-Con, apparently. I hope I get to see him if I go.
Really? That's cool. All right. So the first level here, this is actually a very long level. We just skipped most of it. Don't worry about that. So the first boss we're dealing with here is Taedra. She is going to be invulnerable for most of the fight and force you to deal with her attacks, which are also illusionary. So some of them are going to have some illusions mixed in, and then she's going to do the I don't know, what was that Yu-Gi-Oh card called again? The magical hats?
The magical shuffling hats or something like that. I forget the actual name, but hey, at least I know what they do compared to Pot of Greed. Can someone tell me what that's supposed to do? I still don't quite understand, even after having grown up with the series for how long now?
Yeah, I don't know. I never got it.
But yes.
Yeah. That was a bad pattern. Ooh, unfortunate.
As you can tell, she only moves on once you've taken out all of her clones. If she spawns more, that can just waste you a little bit of time. Also, the amount of time she shuffles is RNG. Sometimes you can actually get a single shuffle, and that's the best pattern.
Yeah, I remember you got one of those on stream, actually, in another speed run.
It was, I'm pretty sure it was the Bonnie No Cactus run I did with you and Curtis on commentary.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was, but I definitely remember you getting like a really good RNG on that one. So this next level, unfortunately, there is the zip. So that was a nice little trick, which is, it's a very bizarre quirk of, I think, Unity? Or
yeah, it's the nudge programming, as Min told me that one time when you were doing this for GDQ Hotfix, actually.
Oh, yeah. So it's just a weird little nudge where when Belle's head gets stuck in a spawning block, specifically when she faces to the left, she'll be nudged upwards and out of that section. It only works in that exact room. Anyway, coming up is Taedra. She is
Lear.
Oh, right. This is Lear. Right. So Lear is a fight that is unique in that she actually has health. Unlike all the other bosses, which have, 3 or 4 hits or whatever, Taedra needs to be hit, 20 times?
Lear needs to be hit 20 times, and
yeah, I keep seeing Taedra.
To be fair, we do not quite like this boss all that much when she decides to be sassy, that we might as well call her the actual character that I hate. I do not like Taedra at all. She's just a brat.
Yeah, so the big problem with Lear is that she is invulnerable in a bunch of her moves around, and has a lot of health, so it's just a pain to deal with her at times. But we've dealt with her, and now we're moving on to level 3. So if you've been keeping track, this is the level that should have a boss, but we've been dealing with 2 of them. So we'll see what happens when that comes around. Also, there's an asteroid about to hit the moon. Don't worry about that, though. That'll be gone in a couple of minutes.
So, at this point, the story overall went from saving our date from our rival, who, yeah, Bonnie and Belle. It's literally a Goku and Vegeta sort of rivalry. I'm pretty certain of that much, anyway. But yeah, so it's kind of that. But at this point, Taedra and Lear, who have been entirely in the background, although we have encountered them once and twice and all that stuff. Oh god. Yeah, at this point now they have made their full intentions clear. And also, Chime is gone.
Yes, so Taedra and Lear have actually done a fusion dance, speaking of Goku and Vegeta, and formed Liadra, who is this powerful entity that sends Chime off into the ether. Now, normally, this would be a big problem for us, as we rely on Chime so much for our platforming skills. But we have the Spark Bangle, so we can just double jump, which kind of eliminates, like, 90% of the problems.
That said, one thing that I would have been doing if this was the no Spark Bangle category was, instead of having to go down and get this key, which, Spark Bangle still makes much faster on its own, but the arcade key that I did purchase earlier in the run would have been used to unlock this door by now. So I would have had a item slot taken up by a key, which would have saved at least a decent bit of time and made the level less of a hassle with the absence of chime.
Yeah, it's not really a huge time save, all things considered, but it's a huge time save in that nobody likes going through that section without chime because it's just a pain. It's just a huge hassle. Nobody likes dealing with it. So
right,
this is the final boss. Yeah, time will be coming up on the 3rd phase, and we'll mention it when it comes up. But for this fight, you have Bonnie's scythe, and you're attacking Liadra with that. Now, you maybe notice that Steve is not bothering to avoid a bunch of hits. He's, in fact, going into a bunch of hits. That is because Liadra actually takes damage based... Oh, that's cool. Ooh, that's not cool.
Oh, no worries, no worries. We still got quite a bit of time to make up for that.
Yeah, so Liadra takes hit based on ticks, and ticks reset, in this case, every time that one of those green orbs are spawned, which only spawn when you have damage taken, because they heal you. Now, you may think, wow, that's so easy. How do you possibly lose to this boss? You can.
I already demonstrated it on its own, but even then, I will admit it took me at least 5 attempts or something along those lines. Might as well have been. But when I beat this boss, it still felt great. And you know what? Even with the Spark Bang Gold, no! Oh, man. Okay. I'll be a lot more careful this time. But this time I should have it for realsies.
Yeah.
Right.
So effectively, this is a fight where it's very easy to stay completely safe and just beat the boss without a problem. But also, if you want to beat it fast, you need to put your life on the line and get 1 heart. Because if you have 1 heart, you're getting the most ticks possible out of that fight.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
Also, the fight's been nerfed a little bit because these later stages used to have disappearing platforms.
Oh, okay. I feel like I might remember that at one point. I can't say for sure, though.
Yeah, like earlier versions of the fight, I think the middle spot on that platform was a disappearing block, and then the next one is like 2 of them were disappearing.
Alright, so time is going to be once the next text box that appears. The moment that text box appears, that'll be time. Here we go. Now. Oh. There we go.
Very nice.
That is Curse Crackers, for whom the bell toils, any percent Cannonless with the Spark Bangle.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
GG.
That was pretty nice. I will admit some silly mistakes along the way, but hey, the estimate more than accounted for that, and we still managed to beat it with at least a couple minutes to spare, so good stuff. Good showing. This game rocks. I highly recommend you all consider getting it. Like I said, it's available on PC through Steam as well as the Nintendo Switch. It's only $15 at normal price. It's very affordable, and let me tell you, it is just a well-made game for something that is literally the second game that this dev has ever launched. They really put a lot of time and effort into this, and the fact that they're also perceptive to the speedrunning community and just so appreciative of all facets of gaming and whatnot, it's just super cool. It's just amazing, and I'm all the more grateful for it. But yeah. So, like I said, if you would like to pick this speedrun up for yourself, the Color Grave community is where you will want to go, and the Discord link you can find on the leaderboard. And not to mention, there's a second playable character. If you liked Belle, check out Bonnie. You can play as Bonnie in this game, and it's so rad. On top of that, though, we just got a lot of categories for you to delve into and all that jazz. But yes, just big shout out to Color Grave in general. What else can I say? Ioto, where can these wonderful people find you?
You can find me all over the internet at Ioto Corp, such as Twitter. I've got Mastodon, Blue Sky, Thread, YouTube, Twitch. I've got a co-host. I've got a website which just has all the things. I got all the social medias. Just look me up. I got them. Also, I just like to point out that this game is incredibly easy to get into the speedrun. I started speedrunning pretty much with this game. And the categories really lend themselves to being very simple to pick up and just play the game. It's very easy to pick up. I would highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Mirne, thank you so much for hosting. It was good to have you along for the ride.
It was great hosting for you again. I always love seeing your runs. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we're going to get set up for our next run with Keshin Trek playing Super Castlevania 4. So make sure that you stay hydrated, maybe a quick stretch break, and we'll be right back.
Ciao, amici.